I'm Kevin Casey. I'm a professional mixed martial arts fighter. And right now, what I'm about to do is issue a warning out to all other competitors.
I don't want overs. I just expect them to happen.
Fatty's gonna fatty is real.
Oh, give me fucking truth, baby. Come on. Let's go.
How have I been this successful in life?
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the MMA Analysis. I think we need to issue a warning to the UFC to never put on a card as shitty as the one last weekend was. We're not going to talk about it because we have morals and principles, and that's why we do what we do. Sean, how you doing?
Good. I chose to go tent in the mountains and freeze my nuts off than watch that fucking slop that was on in the warehouse last Saturday. So
I literally did not watch a second of it. I assume, Wes, you are the only person in the world who watched that card.
Not the only person, but like one of the few. Like, dude, we say it all the time, and I know people get tired of hearing it, us bitching about the UFC and shit, but you can't tell me that's not one of the worst cards they've ever put on. Literally, one of the worst main UFC cards that's ever happened. 10 fights, dude's missing weight, heavyweight arm bars in the main event, like some of the absolute worst shit ever. Now, one good thing that's being said, though, is like they're gonna like expand the Apex and shit now so they can start having that, but it's gonna shut down for like months. So there's gonna be like
That's great.
no Apex fights for like months and months. But I gotta see that to believe it, because I could see like literal walls gone, cranes in the background, and they're still rolling warehouse
jackhammer going in the middle of the fucking fight, and nobody gives a shit.
I'm sure they've got an even smaller gym somewhere else. We'll start having them at like the Performance Institute.
Fucking UNLV. They'll be at the fucking Thomas and Mack Center running in the fucking.
That hosted Pride events.
That would
legendary.
That would be an upgrade.
It would, yeah. They could put fans in the fucking place.
Yeah, no kidding. That could like kind of work for them. I mean, it works for other sports. Put more people than that in a place every week.
That seems like a lot of work, and I feel like the UFC is not really in the mood to do much of anything.
Well, they're gonna. I mean, it's actually a fairly good ideal, like expanding the Apex though, and where you can. I mean, it's more fucking money grubbing bullshit from these people, but like it is a good ideal that they're gonna seat 5,000 fans or whatever it's gonna be. They're gonna. At least fans will be in the building when they do all these cards there, and I think
it will help out. I just think, unfortunately, with how they are running their business now, I don't know how much it's going to help to take this shit on the road, because they took Derek Lewis versus Rodrigo Nascimento on the road, did they not? As a main event,
I think with this. When this new TV thing comes up and they're already talking like it's going to be spread out almost like the NFL and NBA is, to where there's going to be shit on streaming platforms and other stuff, you're going to have some form of like contender series like every Tuesday at some point. You're going to have a weeknight show from the Apex every week, year round at some point eventually, because they're gonna have to have the streaming content when this new TV package comes up. Book that. They will have some form of year-round weeknight card from the Apex. It's gonna happen. Book it.
Can we just separate it in like Apex
all
cards?
Shit is
all the good shit on one network, and then we can actually stop pretending they probably when they take it other place that we have to give a shit about those fights.
That's probably more than likely what happens. Your your regular UFC cards are going to be on ESPN. That'll be their deal. Then like the Tough is probably going to stay on ESPN Plus. Contender Series will probably stay on ESPN Plus. Then whatever extra like streaming content they make, like a weeknight show, it could be Amazon or wherever the fuck else there's Netflix out there that's now like rumored. Netflix is trying to get into the sports business because they need the content and shit. So
the good thing is that whenever they first go to a new platform, they put good stuff on
They'll
it.
give them something
for the first couple months at least.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I mean, beginning of Fox was like amazing times. Like you were literally on a Saturday night, regular TV, getting heavyweight title fights. You know what I'm saying? Like that was great time. It was the start of it was great. It morphed into like, whoo,
we have
some bad stuff, man.
Well, I remember people complaining about, what was it, like the 4th Fox card? Because they were like, there's no title fights or anything on here, man. And it was like,
only
Shogun
did they know
and Vera and Yodo and Bader, like.
Only did they realize that like you were getting pay-per-view level cards still. That now, holy fuck. Whew.
Yep. Anyway, I feel like that covered last week enough. So we don't need to spend any more time on that. This week, you know what, guys, I said it before we started recording. I've got to say it again for the listeners, but I cannot believe the disrespect to the African champion, flying him out to Australia to face some, what is he, New Zealish? Is that a thing? New Zealish?
Zealander.
New Zealander, not an old Zealander, who's like a nerdy Amazon watcher. It's just, can't Africa get a break, guys? Can we not give Africa a break? Sending them into hostile territory like this? Ridiculous. But that is the main event. The African hero looking to overcome the oceanic evildoer, if you will. And
years of oppression.
You know what? For a very, very regional card, this is still pretty decent. It's pretty good stuff. So we'll take it, and we'll kick it off in the flyweight division. I've seen one of these guys. I've seen Jesus Aguilar. I do not know who Stuart Nickel with 2 L's is, though. Sean?
And you shouldn't, because he's just a local that I guess they wanted to fill this card out with some locals. Past couple guys he's beat or don't seem to be very good, so I don't know how good he is. I haven't watched tape on him. You would literally have to pay me to do that. I'll take Aguilar. I don't know if he's any good. A lot of times not too much happens in his fights, save for when you fight a Shannon Ross, who is fucking horrible, or you're getting smoked by a real prospect. But he's probably good enough to win against a okay local guy.
Last time they brought in a dude that we thought was an okay local guy.
Yep.
He's fighting in the co-main
It's true.
event.
I have got these local guys wrong. I guess I need to lean on our buddy Aussie Fight Fan to get my local tips from the oceanic locals.
Yeah. So I wouldn't, and it's that flyweight where we always say like, there's a shitload of undiscovered flyweights who are actually talented out there, and guys that they bring in like this are usually pretty good. So we shall see. Wesley, any thoughts from you?
Yeah, I mean, he's I don't know how good his last opponent was, but man, he's they're serving him up fucking trash cans for him to go Tyara on him. That's for sure. I mean, our boy Aussie knows way more about him than I do. I mean, I know he's not great, but dude's a pretty tough out. He'll probably be my pick in Top Master, but I mean, I like the under here. Like, I know what Aguilar's going to do, though. I've seen that guy fight. He's going to go at old boy. Like, if this guy's as good as Aussie says he is, then I think Aguilar's going to give him some chances to pull something off on him. So I like the under. Even fight doesn't go is like plus money. First fight of the night. Yeah, I think they throw down a little bit. I'm going to play a little bit of that. Not a strong read or anything, but I think Aguilar gives him some spots if he's as good as our boy Aussie says he is.
Yeah, I don't really have any massive thoughts on this one just because I haven't seen Nickel. I'm going to trust Aussie in that he is the Australian Tatsutaira. Because that dude, he submitted Aguilar in the first round, didn't he? I think he did that.
He did.
Yeah. So this guy is going to do the same. I don't know. That is a very good point. Like Aguilar jumps, he jumps the gilly, as the children like to say these days. So as long as Nichols got that good awareness, I think he'll be fine elsewhere in this fight. But I'm not betting it, and I talked too long about it already. Next up, welterweight division. I have seen both of these guys fight. Kenan Song and Ricky Glenn.
Ricky kind of fooled me. He beats Joaquim Silva.
All of us a few times throughout his career.
It's been a journey. It's been a roller coaster, that's for sure. But I mean, most recently is 2021. Him beating Silva. Now Silva, we know is a flawed fighter, but he dusted him. And then that big comeback where he gets the draw against Grant Dawson. I was like, oh shit.
Ricky might be good. Yep.
We might be seeing a resurgence, and then just smoked by Iago, and then Drew Dober crushes him, which I mean is nothing to scoff at. But that Iago's loss, the way it went down, is a fucking bad look. Song Kenan, I don't think is very good either. It's just, I think he has a little bit more left in him than Ricky Glenn, but this could be another time where all of a sudden Ricky Glenn's like, I'm gonna show up and show some of the skills that I've accumulated over my fairly long career. I'll pick Kenan, but I don't want money on either of these fighters at this point in their careers.
Wes?
Yeah, I feel like they're a lot of the same dude, feel like Song's probably just a little more durable than Ricky at this point. So I sort of trust him a little more, but man, minus 170 on Song here against, maybe Ricky does pulls. I kind of like the over. Like I know Ricky's gotten dusted a couple times here, but he went 15 last time. Like Song ain't got some crazy powering thing. It's 1.5. I know it's a little juicy. Minus 145 at Bet Online. I don't see Song like dusting Ricky Glenn at any point in his fight. If it happens, I think it's Glenn catching Song with something, and he just hasn't showed that lately. So I kind of like the over here, minus 145. It's a little juicy, but don't hate that. Maybe see what starts round 3 is when it drops everywhere. It's probably closer to even money, but yeah, I think this goes some time.
Can Song Kenan wrestle at all?
Yeah, sometimes. Can he?
I mean, he took down fucking
Ian
Gary.
He'll get on top of you a little bit, but he's not like a offensive wrestler. He doesn't want to do that. That's for sure.
And he's not going to do anything to you when he's down there.
Yep.
I think the over is a good look. I was actually like, my first thought is this is going to a decision.
Yeah, me too.
Like, as you said, Glenn had that little run where he was finishing dudes and now obviously got finished the last couple, but forever, all he did was go to decisions. And Song doesn't have huge power. Glenn's moving up to 170. He's not going to have huge power there. So as long as he's just not like completely shot and can take a punch, then I think this is probably going the whole way. And honestly, might even take a little look at Ricky Glenn by decision, which I think was in the plus 400 range, because I think this is competitive and going 15 minutes. So the moving up in weight doesn't really scare me. I don't think these guys are going to be all that different in size. And I just think they're two similar guys where Glenn has the higher skill level in more places and just needs to hold it together. Next up, lightweight division. Tom Nolan, Alex Reyes. Apparently this fight shouldn't be booked. I don't know. Whatever. Tom Nolan's going to kill him. Sean?
It's wild. Like, Tom Nolan 2 fights ago got knocked out in a minute by Nicholas Mota. And he is a minus 1150 favorite. And that says a lot about who he is fighting. That he is that big of a number and probably is justified that big of a number. Alex Reyes is not good. He had he's 6 years off between his UFC fights with Mike Perry and Charlie Campbell. Comes back, smoked again, 1 round, and now he took another year off, almost a year.
Just protecting his brain, man.
That's fair. You know,
he's 37. He better protect.
The only thing I worry about is
he's not fighting anymore.
He got knocked out by Mike Perry. He took 6 years off. Now he got knocked out by Campbell, and he only took 1 year off.
Not good.
It's not good either way. Not
probably
good either way.
That 6.
Yeah, it probably should have just I don't know,
stop
fighting it and get a real job. I don't know. Tom Nolan probably should crush this guy. And if he doesn't, it's very sad. But let's make it a quick night, and then maybe Alex Reyes can move on with his life.
Wesley.
Yeah, I mean, Nolan round 1 is minus 165. That's crazy kind of stuff. I mean, I kind of like the under for a parlay piece. It's minus 260 at Bet Online, 1.5. Nolan's gonna smoke this guy. He's really, really bad. He's 37, like Sean's right, 6 years off, took another year off. He's been laid out slick twice. In 7 years, this guy should not be fighting. I don't know what's going on, how he got these fights with the UFC. Really, no clue. I don't guess he's just that body bag to get somebody back on track, get their streak going, because this is what this is. Nolan's gonna fuck this guy up. It's probably gonna be round 1. That under 1.5, I don't think that's a bad parlay piece.
I think Reyes is just playing the long game. The UFC's used to waiting out fighters, and he's like, no, fuckers, I'm gonna wait you out. You're gonna give me another fight. You're not gonna have a choice. Just, because they've got to offer them every 6 months.
We got a contract, motherfuckers, and
if you decline, then your contract gets extended for 6 months or something automatically. And he's just done that for the past decade.
Been declining fights for 5 years. Oh, shit.
Anyway, I have absolutely no interest in this fight or betting it. We are moving on to the featherweight division, where Jack Jenkins, the Australian Brad Pickett, is taking on Herbert Burns, the shittier of the Burnses. Sean.
Much so. It's weird to see Jack Jenkins as a -8, -900 favorite. I don't think he should be that high. There's got to be a slim chance there where Herbert Burns, snatches up a sub or something. Jack Jenkins just isn't good enough to be that big of a favorite, in my opinion, against a pretty, he is bad. He's lost 3 in a row in the UFC, but he won some on the regional scene. He's obviously good at jiu-jitsu. That number is just weird to me, but Herbert Burns probably, he's a bit of a quitter. This is not a surprising thing.
Just look at the round 2 and 3 prices in this fight.
Yeah, that is wild to see those numbers. I might throw a dart on Herbert Burns by sub just for shits and giggles. I think that is his only path to victory. I don't think Jack Jenkins is some killer that's just gonna get him out of there. So if I was looking to play something else, it'll probably be the over. It's right around even money. There is that chance that Herbert Burns quits, but sometimes it's a little bit later. Well, not really. Last time it was a minute 15 of the second, so it wouldn't even cash. But I'll just hope that Jenkins isn't going to be doing too much. We're in a big cage. Is he going to want to grapple too much with a guy that's got good jiu-jitsu? It might be a bit of a staring contest. Let's run the clock and hit the over.
Wesley.
Yeah, I mean, his fight before getting to the Contender Series 3-round decision over Rod Costa. His Contender Series fight went almost 15 minutes against Freddie Leonarez. I don't know if we've seen him again. Don Shainis, 3 rounds, split 3 rounds to Jamal Emmers.
Don Shainis.
Then the last one, the arm injury on Chepe, which is, I mean, that was just weird. I don't like Jenkins isn't some killer. Like, I think he's decent, but I think Sean's also right. Like, he likes to try to grapple a little bit at times. Like, is he going to want to do that to Burns? Like, giving him probably his only chance of losing this fight. Like, I think this could be some staring. And like, the other thing about Burns, like, if you don't make him quit, like, most dudes put a pace on him to make him quit. Like Arce and Algio were just all over that guy. That's just not how Jenkins fights. And Burns will grab a hold of you when you get in close on him. Like, he will hold you. He don't give a shit. He will hold you against the cage. He'll be on his back holding the shit out of you. I like the over a lot. Like, I think if Burns just doesn't flat out quit, which I think Jenkins is going to have to put some heat on him, a pace on him to make him quit. Just don't see that happening. I like the over 1.5 quite a bit. That's my spot in this fight. I think Jenkins is going to win. Brad's right, though. Those round 2, round 3, so fucking low because it's going to be somewhere in the second or third round where Burns is finally like, fuck this. He don't want to be carried out of the cage by his brother ever again, crying and shit. Like, that might be one of the worst looks I've ever seen. Like, even McGregor with his fucking leg dangling wasn't getting carried out by his trainers. I'm like, yeah, I like the over. Big as Jenkins for me. I just Burns a get out of there at some point.
Very worried about the Burns quitting. It's my only hesitation with that over. Of course, other than the fact that he could grab something as he does. Yeah, Ozzy, we need to find you 2 more to just toss them all in a stupid round robin.
And Steve said, "Is the morphine kicking in?" Yeah, Ozzy likes his big out there props, and they come in every now and then.
Yeah, they do. Here I'm kind of on the same track as you guys. Maybe I'll take it a step further and be like, Jenkins isn't going to finish him at all. Burns isn't going to quit. Time moved backwards in Australia, so maybe he'll get fresher as the fight goes instead of getting gassed and be able to last the entire 15 minutes. That has to be as good a price as the round 3, right?
450 for decision.
Okay. I'm sure there's better than that out there somewhere, but I don't know. Jenkins should win unless something stupid happens in the first round. But I agree with you guys. He's not a dynamic fighter, so Burns can certainly stick around. Women's flyweight division. Luana Santos taking on Casey O'Neill, nickname redacted for the disrespect. She's starting to lose a bunch of fights now. The karma's coming for her, isn't it?
You reap what you sow. She's finally. They tried to get her against Modafari. They one of the judges was in on it, but after that, they knew what's up. And there's only one king. There's only one king, Casey.
Well, she got armbarred by the Queen of Violence last time, so lesson to be learned there, probably, or something.
Something like that. I don't really care about this fight. Luana Santos Is she good? I don't know. She's fought very terrible fighters, but she's probably better than King Casey. Who knows? You probably should pick the dog. These are terrible women's fights, and there's plus money. So that's the way that you probably should go. But I'm dumb, so I will pick not the nickname stealer.
Wesley.
Santos decision. Probably not going to bet it.
Yeah, sure. Okay. Moving on. Featherweight division. Josh Kulabau. Ricardo Ramos. Should be fun, Sean.
Should be fun. Should be weird. I feel like both these guys are kind of in weird fights and weird results. At one point, I feel like we thought Ricardo Ramos was good. We gave him a pass for losing to the Saeed. And then, he runs into Lerone Murphy, who turns out is good, and loses to Hugoff, which, he's the fucking wild card. Then he's just diving into guillotines against Jourdain and Julian Erosa. And what are you doing with yourself? Just doing that, just serving that up. Kulabau is a guy that's also lost 2 straight. At least he's losing by decision instead of getting smoked. I don't know. It's a weird fight. It's hard for me to trust Ramos. I think he's the more skilled fighter. It's just I don't know if he's ever just kind of put it together since that longer streak he had. So it should be fun. Totals 2.5 minus 130 for the over. I don't know. I'll probably just steer clear of this fight. Hope for some weirdness and just enjoy it.
That's fair. Wes?
Yeah, I think this is a good fight for Ramos. I don't think he's got to worry about Kulabau pulling off one of those guillotines. I think it's gonna be sort of a striking match. That's what Kulabau wants to do. He's okay at it. Kulabau's got some decent hands. I think Ramos is just more dynamic. Definitely, if he gets on top on the mat, he's better than Kulabau. But man, it's just hard to fucking trust this guy now. The plus money's making me look at it, a little more. It's tempting, but fuck, man, it's just hard to put dollars on this guy the way he's looked lately. We thought he was going to be very good. I think most of us did, and he just ain't put it together. I think this probably goes 15 if it plays out how I think it is. Just kind of a back and forth kind of kickboxing match. The over's a little juicy. Ramos' decision is like plus 325 at Bet Online. I don't think that's a bad spot if you like Ramos here and lean the over, kind of like I do. So I might take a little bit of that if I want a little action. But man, to have any kind of real money on Ramos at this point, I just can't do it. Kulabau the same way. That guy just puts himself in very close fights. Sometimes he's just not doing enough. So it's hard to trust that guy as well if that's the way you lean to. So I'll pass mostly here, but might take a little bit of that Ramos decision. He's going to be the pick in Top Master.
Yeah, Ramos is the more talented guy, obviously more skilled all around, but he really doesn't like to get pushed in fights. And Kulabau, I think, can do that throughout this fight. Ramos is probably going to start off looking real good, but Bilbao's going to keep coming forward, keep putting pressure on him. And I think at some point, Ramos is just going to kind of go into a shell and maybe survive to a decision, probably survive to a decision because Kulabau's not like a huge hitter or anything like that. I just don't think this is necessarily going to be a great look for Ramos down the line. Honestly, the one thing that could save him is if he does go to his grappling. I know you probably Ramos bettors probably don't want to hear that or see that after the last couple fights. But I think he can get takedowns and win some time on top here against Kulabau and just kind of relieve some of that pressure that's going to be on him. But It's close enough that I'm not going to be betting it. But I do kind of lean to Kulabau taking a decision in this one. So that will be the pick. And we will move it on to the final prelim of the card. Junior Tafa taking on Walter Walker.
What a name for a Russian. His nickname's the Clean Monster. That's not really what you want to see from the Russian guys. You want them to be on all the good gear. So
Yeah,
it's a bit
gear
concerning.
monster.
Yeah, that's what you want.
That guy's Brazilian, right?
Yeah, he's fights
He's
out of Russia.
Yeah.
Oh,
they
he
gave him the
actually-
Russian flag in the old Sherdog.
Oh, he actually trains in Russia.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah.
And he's got like
He's got it.
that he is the descendant of some motherfuckers from Germany. Fled to Brazil, born there, back to Russia now. He's planning something, this dude. I don't trust him.
He better not get an ancestry test. There's probably gonna be some bad stuff come up on a test like that on this dude.
Are they trapping this man on the in the oceanic region? Do they got something on this guy? They're sending him to an island so that they're going to capture him, or what's going on here?
I'm surprised he wasn't on one of the Middle East cards. That seems like his crew.
Yeah. He doesn't seem very good. He obviously lost to Lukasz Brzeski. But if he gets takedowns, he probably can win this fight. Junior Tafa is terrible. Has terrible takedown defense. Doesn't seem like he can even knows how to get up, really. So this could get real sloppy and real boring. And that's probably what you want if you're betting the over, which is like minus 145. Hopefully it comes down a bit so we can play it straight. If not, throw it in a chalky parlay or something. Yeah, I'll pick the Russian Brazilian from Germany to get a gross decision.
Fun stuff. Wes, is this one of those the Tafa dude here? Is he one of those like younger brothers where they're like, "Wait, you see my younger brother," and then the younger brother shows up and he's shittier than the older brother?
He's the shittier one.
Yeah, and they always try to put him over hard too, don't they? Like,
oh yeah,
probably because they're tired of them fucking mooching off of their ass, and they're like, "Man, can you give this dude a job? He's great. I swear, he's better than I ever was." This guy, I think Brad could put double legs on Junior Tafa, like straight up. This fucking guy couldn't stop a takedown to save his life. Walker is absolutely terrible, but man, he should be able to get takedowns and lay on this dude. I know, like, Tafa made it to the second with Lima. Lima beat the shit out of him for a little over a round. So Tafa will take it a little bit, laying on his back. He eventually got like some shit landed on him that had to stop it, but Walker ain't even like Lima on top throwing shit. So I like the over. I'll lay 145 myself. Maybe when it gets widely available, it's a little better somewhere, but 145 is not too bad. And yeah, I like the over. Let's get sloppy. Let's get some of those German takedowns, some of that East German stuff. The man looks like he might be on some of that Serbian stuff. And yeah, takedowns over 1.5.
Yeah, I was hoping for a bigger number on Walker by decision because I feel like this could look a decent bit like the old Mo Usman fight.
Yep.
Or just a lot of what Mo Usman does, which is nothing. But price for goes the distance is only like plus 160. Walter by decision was only like plus 225. So at those prices, I'm just going to take the over 1.5 because Tafa's got some power, but I don't think he's got like that one quitter power at this level. Although who knows? It doesn't seem like old Bolter should have vaulted up to the UFC in the first place.
Man, Nick Sarah level that's like some low blow type stuff right there. God damn. Damn, Mossy. He's definitely medicated tonight.
There's been some good ones, some good nepotism hires over the years in the UFC.
Yeah.
Even Matt Hughes' brother got a fight back in the day.
Yeah, he actually fucking did, didn't he?
Yep.
Who was the other I guess he wasn't as that bad. Oh, Jimmy Miller's brother was getting
Dan
got
Miller,
Dan Miller had a long career. He
he had quite a few fights. He got the shit beat out of him late though. Like they eventually had to get rid of him.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's been some.
He's no Dan. Or he's no Jim, sorry.
No, certainly not. Yeah, so that's that for that one. And we head on to the main card. Some Carlos Prates.
It's gonna be fun.
Taking on Lil Jangalang, China Goat, our boy, China Male Goat, I guess you have to say at this point, right?
At this point, I mean, he was the original before there was even ladies in this shit. Like,
yeah, I know.
China Goat.
Anyway, this should be a thing, Sean.
now, of course, you got to look to see who Carlos Prates has fought, but a guy that's 170 pounds having knockdowns in his first 3 fights in the UFC is pretty impressive for the most part, regardless who he's fighting. I know it's got watered down, but still impressive. He does get hit a lot. Trevin Giles was able to, jab him up a pretty good amount. This fight is going to be on the feet. I guess there's a chance that Jangalang could land a bomb. He does have big power. I think probably Prates is the one getting the finish in this fight. Jangalang has never been finished by KO, but Prates has got some power, 36. And yeah, he's getting old, and Prates has some big power. So I think I'll probably look at the under 2.5. It's like minus 140, I think, 135 at some places.
Pinnacle's got best price right now, I think, but I don't think the 2.5 is up everywhere yet.
Yeah, so that's kind of the direction I'm looking. Don't know if I'm gonna lock that in yet, but that's I'll pick Prates to get it done in under 2.5.
Wesley.
Yeah, I do. I like the under as well. But I don't know. I'm starting to become pretty fucking sold on this Prates guy. Like Sean mentioned, I mean, dropping Trevin Giles, Mitch Ramirez, Radke, like he's not great, but the dude's tough and durable. Like this guy's done some insane stuff. That flying knee to the body he hit Radke with, I was there live for that. That's sick stuff, man. Like he's just dynamic, man. And then the sport now where shit's so close and it's fucking, create a fighter A against B. Like this dude's just dynamic. He's got ways to finish fights, man. And I think Jingling's gonna get in there and throw down. He usually does. Like Sean's right. He's never been like KO'd. It's mostly getting taken down and sub in the times he has been finishes, but he's been a pretty durable guy, but he's starting to wear it too, man. He's getting older. He's been in a lot of fights, 36 now. I just think Prates is that dynamic, man. He's that dude. So I do like the under. That kind of saves you in case Jangalang does land some bomb on him. Prates inside the distance is minus 135 at Bet Online. I don't hate that, and I really like the under. I think that's a good spot in this fight. But like, if Prates goes out there and like does something spectacular on Jangalang, like he's gonna have to start getting some big fights, because that would be very impressive to finish a guy like Jangalang in the fashion that he's been finishing guys.
Yep. I don't think I'm as sold on Prates as
He beat Charles
especially in the West.
Oliveira a couple years ago.
Yeah.
God damn, bro. What are we
What was that?
doing? He beat Charles Oliveira a couple years ago. We got to put some respect on this guy's name.
It's true. That was just the weight class, though. It was a weight class thing. It wasn't a skill issue. So, we're not worrying about that. He's a fun striker. I think that he can get a little sloppy looking for the big shot. And like if he doesn't land, or even if he does land the big thing, Zhang Lang's got one of those craniums that it seems like is just impossible to knock the dude out. Even when he eats stuff clean, he's just like, I don't know, it absorbs differently through his skull, and he doesn't get hurt by it. So we'll see if that can continue. But I can't pull the trigger on minus 370 or minus 350 or whatever it is for Freitas here. And love me some little Jangling, but he is a 36-year-old with a lot of miles on him. So not exactly rushing to the window to bet that. I think this would be, depending on your opinion of Freitas, probably his worst loss, like ever, maybe. Except like going way back to the regional circuit, but
recent.
Yeah, so like it's just kind of that weird. Is he on the downslope enough that this guy can come and take his spot and deserves to be almost minus 400 to do it? That seems a little wide to me, but we'll see if I get there on Saturday night. Might need something to start off the pay-per-view with, so it would be something silly on my do a little jangling.
Little jangling.
Heavyweights, the fatties.
Let's get sloppy.
Jairzinho. That's not his name.
It was me right there.
Jairzinho Rosenstruck. It might say that he's from Suriname, but he is from, I don't know, Tel Aviv, Suriname, with a last name like Rosenstruck. He's taken on Tai Tuivasa, who is a filthy human being that drinks beer out of boots. It's gross. It'll always be gross. It was always gross. I'm glad that whole thing has kind of run its course.
You can't do it if you don't win.
Well, yeah, it helps that he's lost 4 straight. It's kind of a bad luck to get just absolutely choked out or knocked the fuck out and do one.
Like in society as a whole, because there was a time where people were like doing that.
Yeah.
No, it's not a thing anymore, is it?
Not good. I think you're asking the wrong guys. I don't think we're in the circles of, or even being able to see the people that would do such things like that. So I hope it's over. It's a good thing to pass. But when I saw this fight, before I looked at the odds, I was like, oh, okay, well, maybe I'll get, Rosenstruck as a smallish favorite. Looks like I probably could have got it at, a number that I would play him at if, I bet fights when they get released. But with the fucking randomness that is the UFC, I don't bet openers really, or really until a couple days before fights, because so many fights get canceled and changed and stuff like that. So I'm not wasting time on that. But yeah, if Rosenstruck was still minus 160, I'd probably put him in a parlay or something. At the price he's at, this is pretty low level heavyweights. Weird shit can happen. Tuivasa could throw one punch and it hits the right spot and it's over. So I'll just stay away from that. It's what this comes down to, I think, is what mindset do you think that Tuivasa is going to have coming into this fight? Is he going to be cautious because he has lost 4 straight and he is probably going to get cut if he loses this fight? And then, this motherfucker, you think he's going to PFL? Like, I don't think so. So
baby.
He's going to have to make some tough career decisions. So I'm kind of banking on him being a little more cautious. Rosenstruck is I think happy to have a slow paced fight because I think he thinks that he is the sharper striker. And if he slows down this fight, he will be able to pick apart Tuivasa. So I think he's fine with that. So I'm going to be playing the over 1.5. Let's get fatty. It's a true fatties. It's like plus 160 right now, I believe. If you get starts round 2 around even money, starts round 2 around even money. That's a good one too. It's not really at many books at this point, but that would be a good one too. But yeah, the overs. Let's get fat. Let's get cautious. Let's get staring.
Wes.
Well, you got that on one side, like in spades. Like Rosenstruck never met a man he didn't want to stare at for 30, 40 seconds at a time before he threw a punch. So now we need Ty to do his part here.
That's right.
And there's been a few times where Ty will do the job for a round. So like I really like fight starts round 2 at any kind of even plus number. I like that bet a lot. I don't mind the over. I'm gonna have a little of that true at plus 160 because that's just like that's a crazy. We don't get those often anymore, and get kind of one side of a matchup that gives you a really good shot at it. Like we get some true 1.5s on some heavyweights, not that kind of number every now and then, but man, they're first round fucking killers in a fight. But man, that 2.5 minutes, man, like we talked before the show, like Tuivasa seems like once he gets into a second round, though, he knows he doesn't have a lot left and he starts going all out. So that's what makes the over it makes me like that fight starts round 2 a whole lot more. I lean Rosenstruck in this fight. I think the right guy's favored. If Tuivasa doesn't come in and land just something crazy on him, Rosenstruck's a hard dude to fight like that. Like he's a really hard guy that you're going to just bum rush and take out. So yeah, I think Rosenstruck kind of lays back as long as he's got to until he finds a spot, and he's probably going to catch Tuivasa with something. Hopefully it's past 2 minutes and 30 seconds into the second round.
Yeah, I think we're gonna get some cautiousness, some trepidation. Even when Rosenstruck does land, when Ty decides to start coming in, it's not like Ty has a bad chin. It's not like he's just been getting knocked out left, right, and center. And Rosenstruck, I think the power was a little overblown. Like I don't want to get punched by him, but these are professional fighters. I mean, Ty got subbed a couple times. He got knocked out by Pavlovich, which like that dude hits pretty hard relative to most human beings. And the Gone one, like he was out of that fight before it started, and it was just accumulation sort of thing. He didn't actually really get put out in that fight, if I'm recalling correctly. So
Gon doesn't put anybody out, if we're being honest.
Tuivasa does have like a pretty insane chin.
He takes an ass whooping. When he loses, he takes an ass whooping.
He never gets clean.
Easy way out.
Yeah, he never gets like clean knocked out. Like that guy's chins. Even when like fucking fuckface Hardy like got him early on, like hit him fucking clean, man, and hurt him, but that dude just doesn't get knocked out clean.
Yep. And don't think that's gonna happen here either. So yeah, that leads me to believe that it's either gonna be Ty landing something massive on Rosenstruck, who he's only been knocked out the once against. Oh, sorry, he got knocked out against Volkov. I forgot about that one. Yeah. But other than that, it was only like Ngannou swinging the fucking coal mining shovel from Nigeria at him, or Cameroon. Sorry. In that the most absurd combo in MMA history. So yeah, you've got two guys who are pretty durable, one who is very willing to do nothing in a fight, and the other one who is starting to play it a little bit more tactical, and kind of has reason to in this fight as well. Like, he's at his most vulnerable if he just decides to bum rush Rosenstruck in this one. So we're going to take some over 1.5. We've got a true fatties. I knew you knew that I was going to get there, but we need to have some rationale behind it. And that's going to be the consensus bet of the week because we couldn't decide on anything else. So back to old reliable. As Wes said, the starts round 2. It's probably even better than the over 1.5. Ty does have a couple of early stoppages in round 2s, just sort of coming out and swinging, and that could, potentially go either way in this fight. So, yeah, over 1.5, the true fatties, the plus number. It's what dreams are made of. And then also, if you've got it available, the starts round 2 at plus money is well worth a bet as well. Too many wells there. Lightweight division, Mateusz Gamrot taking on. Is that Chris Anderson? No, Dan Hooker with. He's just made some life choices recently, which good for him if that's what he wants to do. Sean,
It's
What now? Am I missing something?
He's getting covered in all the ink.
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I guess
he's going for it. He's going for it. Gamrot has a bit of a weird one. So he has 7 wins. He's been dropped in 3 of those wins. So that tells you kind of a couple things. He gets hit, which he does. He also has good recovery, and his offensive wrestling can save his ass. And that's what it's done a couple times for him. I don't know if he gets dropped in this fight. Dan Hooker's got good striking. He's dropped Jalen Turner last time out. But I think Gamrot is very, very fucking good. And it's going to take a certain type of fighter to beat him. And there's not many of those just because of his style of fighting, his gas tank and his takedowns. So I think he gets Hooker down. He doesn't seem to really finish any of these guys. So my guess it's going to be 15 minutes, but I think it's going to be mostly all Gamrot. Looks like if you took him about 10 days ago, it was a pretty damn good number. -210, -215. That's a pretty good price.
Ain't nobody got time for that shit.
Ain't nobody got time for that. So I will probably parlay him small at -3 fucking 30 or whatever, 340, whatever the hell he is.
Wesley.
Yeah, Gamrot's just got that out. He'll always have that out. He can get just about anybody down if he wants to. And like even on the feet, man, like that dude's good, man. His pressure when he wants, his pace. He's got cardio for days. I mean, Hooker's gonna have to clean knock him out to win this fight, right? Like I don't see Hooker like out voluming him or like grind into some decision in this spot. So I like Gamrot here. I don't know what's better bet though. If you're even looking at a parlay spot, like the over 2.5 is like almost $1 cheaper than Gamrot here. And that even might save you for some fuckery, some kind of, fucked up decision. But yeah, Gamrot decision is, I think there's a -150 sitting out there. That's not bad. Yeah, I like him in this spot. I like him by decision. I'm probably going to lean towards taking the over with something and saving a little bit of money over parlaying Gamrot.
Smart.
I'm not necessarily sure that the over is all that great here.
You think he gets them out of there?
Hooker's fucking durable, man. God damn, he's
Hooker was durable. I think that's kind of fading.
could be.
I wouldn't be shocked if Gamrot finds just like a positionally dominant sub, like an arm triangle, or like Mac and Cheese got him with a Kimura relatively easily. And honestly, I don't think there's that much of a gap between Mac and Cheese's grappling game and Gamrot's. Like, he's not quite on that level, but he's pretty
close.
damn close to it.
Yeah.
Like, I could definitely see him getting Hooker out of there. I like Gamrot more than the over in this spot. I haven't really looked at what the sub props were. I didn't realize, or what the stoppage props were. I didn't realize that would be
500.
particularly contentious.
Yeah, so plus 500.
Yeah. Could see something like that happening. So we'll keep an eye on it, but I do like Gamrot quite a bit in this spot. Not necessarily wanting to parlay him, but if I'm watching the fights and in the mood, I'll have some sort of action on this fight, and it would definitely be in that direction. Co-main event, flyweight division. Good old Steve France. Battle of the Steves here. Steve France facing Steve Egg. Steve the Egg dude. He's back. Fresh off the title fight that didn't really deserve, but acquitted himself well in it. We'll say.
Until he pissed his pants in the 5th round and cost himself a fucking title
gave
fight.
away a title, yeah.
Which, I mean, I don't know. I guess he's not young. Like, he's 29. You would assume that he wouldn't make as bad a decision as that was in that fight. But is that going to be something that we see come up again, or is that something that he's learned from and won't do again? I guess we'll see.
He puts on consistently horrible final rounds of fights. Like, the Costa fight was absolutely dreadful in round 3, and then the Pantoja fight. So
yeah, not good. I know we did kind of question if he was going to gas at all or just have poor late rounds against Pantoja, and I don't think he gassed, but he did have a poor round 5. I'm also curious of what this line would be if KKF got the decision that he probably deserved against Albazi last time out. I think Albazi is pretty damn good, but I'm pretty sure I bet Albazi, and I think I'm pretty sure I scored that one for KKF. It was obviously a close fight. This fight is, I think, going to be standing, and when KKF doesn't really have to worry too much about grappling, he's a pretty damn good fighter. Has shown pretty good takedown defense other than the very, very good guys. So, if the Egg dude wants to grapple a bit, I think he can stuff those takedowns. And when it's on the feet, I think KKF is better. So I'm playing him small. It's like plus 140. I think that's a good price on a guy that, if he gets the decision last time out, he might be in line for a title shot again or close to it.
Wesley, which Steve for you?
Yeah, this is probably the hardest fight for me to call on this entire card. I thought the Egg dude showed himself well in that title fight. Like Sean mentioned, he was one horrible mistake away from being a champion. I mean, didn't gas. Thought he was still coming pretty hard in the 5th round against Pantoja. Landed a lot on Pantoja, but like, how do you look at that? Because it's Pantoja. The guy literally looks like a fucking car wreck victim at the end of every fight that he wins, but he gets hit a ton. I mean, he grappled Pantoja though. Like, he was taking Pantoja down at times. One time really bad. He tried to. He shouldn't have, but he was getting takedowns. That's the question for me. Like, I think France is like slightly better, more technical, a little bit more power on the feet, but will Ursay like go for takedowns if he has to in this fight? Can he get them? Like, there's just, man, I could see this fight playing out a number of different ways. Don't hate somebody taking the plus money, I guess, because it's that close of a fight. Probably goes 15 minutes. I lean Ursay. Just I was pretty impressed with him in a title fight, in a fight that he probably should have never got. Was just, I mean, imagine that pressure on that guy, just that massive fight against that dude. So yeah, I lean him, but man, I can't lay that kind of juice here. Don't really have any kind of bet at this point on this fight. I'll probably have to find something. It's the co-main. I'll find some way to get something in there. But yeah, I'm gonna pick the Eggman, and hopefully Sean can cash some dog money.
Yeah, we'll see if the egg keeps rolling. I'm more on Steve France here than Steve Egg. So I think the biggest difference that allowed Egg to look good in the Pantoja fight is Pantoja's going to come forward. He's going to swing. He's got bad defense, bad distance management, and Steve France is much better at those things. He's probably going to make the Egg dude come forward and find him, and I think it's going to be kind of difficult to do so. So I think it's not going to be a don't blink fight, like his nickname, very apt nickname for a tiny human being. He's smaller than me. I'm allowed to say it. Just don't hurt me, dude. But yeah, I think it's going to be, as the folks say these days, more technical than we would come to expect from the flyweights. Maybe not the most action-packed fight as the Eggs trying to find France, and I just don't necessarily think it's going to happen for him in this fight. Big height difference here, but I don't think the reach difference is all that big, and I don't necessarily know that the Egg dude fights particularly long, especially since he's always kind of falling into the clinch and stuff like that. So yeah, I like Steve France here. Do I like him enough to bet him? Probably, because I'm kind of desperate for bets on this card. So plus 135, plus 140, stuff like that out there. I'll take it. Main event time. Middleweight division. Israel Adesanya challenging the African hero, Dricus Third Ricus du Plessis.
Perfect. Absolutely perfect.
That's a Dan Tom original. Gotta give credit where credit's due.
That is very well done, Dan. DDP's a guy that I've, done a mix of betting on and betting against in his UFC career. I think betting against him, they were much bigger bets, and I lost those. The Whitaker fight comes to mind. I think I had a big one on that one, and that really surprised me. Whitaker kind of says that was just an off night, which I guess can happen.
It looked like it.
It kind of it's hard to say. It looked like an off night.
We've never seen him grappled like that against anybody.
No,
and what we've seen of Whitaker
and what we've seen since
makes me feel like that was a little off night. Not taking that like DDP. That was a great win, like great performance too.
Yep, nobody's done it that way against Whitaker, so you still got to give him props if it was an off night. And then I did bet him against Strickland, and I think maybe got a little bit lucky. It was a close fight. I don't know. I think, Israel was like the most active UFC champ for a very long time. He fought a shit ton. He's been out almost a year now. That's probably not a bad thing. Like, I know he's 35 years old. He's obviously fought a million times in kickboxing and MMA, but I think taking breaks for somebody like him is probably not a bad idea considering the busy schedule he did have. And then matchup wise,
the title and come back fight for the title again.
It always helps. Yeah, you can fight for the title because you live in a place where the UFC wants to put pay-per-views on. So, I mean, it's a benefit to him. He didn't have to fight somebody after that loss to Strickland, so that works out. It's an interesting stylistic matchup because I think if Dricus is smart, he's going to try to get takedowns because I think if he keeps it on the feet and he does his, charging in and flurry, I think Adesanya is going to pick him apart. DDP is obviously a much different striker than Sean Strickland with his weird defense and things like that. I think Adesanya is going to hit DDP a bit, and then he's going to start biting on those feints, which Strickland didn't really do. But it is worrisome that I think DDP can probably outgrapple Adesanya. Now, if Adesanya, if he backs up and if he counters in this fight, I think he's going to be good because he generally has pretty good takedown defense against the cage. And if DDP is coming forward, Adesanya is a guy that's good enough to be able to fight off his back foot and counter strike. So I think I'm going to go with Adesanya. I'll probably bet him. The line is very small for a guy that is an all-time great against a guy that, has proved a lot of people wrong, has had a great run in the UFC, but I still have questions for the real African.
Wesley.
Yeah, I mean, Izzy's fought 16 times in 6 years in the UFC. Most of those 5-round main events and title fights. That guy needed.
When you have to add in, COVID there too, right? So like that, it might be closer to like that many fights in 5 years or 4.5 years, shit like that. Like he fought a lot.
Yeah, I mean, that guy needed the break. He if anybody, 11 months usually isn't like great. It's not necessarily bad, but if any dude needed to take just a little time off, and it looks like it helped because the videos of this dude in training and shit, he looks like fucking ripped out of his mind. Izzy's absolutely rejuvenated and ready for this fight. Yeah, like the
2.0,
possibly. I think Sean hit most of this. We know DDP is probably gonna need to get a few rounds of some sort of control, ground control, takedowns and stuff. If he's bum rushing in and flurrying like he usually does, this isn't Strickland throwing those shitty jabs and stuff. And that fight was razor close, man. If they gave that fight to Strickland, you could have never argued it. It was that close. Strickland landed all of his shit on DDP. It's just Strickland can't hurt anybody. Izzy's hitting this guy. If he's backing up, countering and stuff, I think Sean hit most of this. I just got a feeling, dude, that Izzy's taking this guy very, very seriously. He doesn't like this dude whatsoever. If this stays up on the feet, how can you not like Izzy at a pick 'em again? I've underestimated DDP. I still got major questions too, man. I think that Whitaker fight that made him that's where this fight, I mean, he got the Strickland win, but just that put him to another level. Everything tells me that was a really bad night for Robert Whitaker. Everything since we've seen from Whitaker. I like Izzy a lot here. This is gonna be it's gonna be a banger for me. I'm putting 5. I'm going 5 units on Izzy. I like Izzy massive here. Gonna be my biggest bet of the year. I think he knocks out Dracus. I think he gets him at some point. I think Dracus comes in with one of those dumbass flurries. Izzy's getting his timing in the 3rd, 4th round, and he's gonna knock this guy out.
Ozzy, did you mean to put the wrong color fist in
I
your
know. I
emoji
thought that
there?
was. I thought we were going South African here, bro. What's going on, man?
Yeah, this is an interesting fight. I think that DDP needs to find a way to put pressure on Izzy without doing what he normally does and just like winging combos. Like if he could take a little bit of Strickland's game and just pressure behind a jab and then use that to get into the grappling, I think he's going to have a whole lot more success than if he's just running forward and winging shit. Because in the grappling, I don't know that Izzy's ever been to the continent of Africa or felt that kind of strength. But I heard that DDP's been training with those gorillas from the movie Congo. Those like genetically altered angry motherfuckers. Yeah. He's got something waiting for Izzy when they get into the grappling here. So it's tough for me because it's actually not that tough. I think Izzy's probably going to be able to avoid the bulk of the takedowns, land stuff as DDP starts to get wild on the feet. And as you guys said, the time off for him is not a bad thing. He's getting up there in age, but he's not like we've seen lots of middleweights and guys his size go well into their late 30s with lesser skill sets and lesser physical abilities than what he's got right now. So I think he's going to be able to pick DDP off. Maybe there's a dangerous moment or two where DDP does get his hands on him. If that happens early, it increases DDP's chances because he's got to kind of wear Adesanya out a little bit in this one. If he just has a fresh Adesanya coming at him or moving away from him in rounds 3, 4, and 5, like that's going to be pretty dangerous for him. So I think Izzy wins. Can't bet him yet. We'll see. I can't betray.
You might end up with plus money on Izzy here. Like that line's been going down all week. Like they're loving DDP. I think old Mason put his splits up in like not the bet splits, but the money splits was like 57-43 DDP or something like that. So like the money's coming in on DDP for some reason.
Works for me.
Do we think though in any scenario that like the fight we saw Izzy the best game plan ever against him, Jan literally getting him down, laying on him, just bullying him. I just don't. DDP's not that guy. Like I get his grappling is okay and stuff, but have we ever seen him like do what he necessarily has to do to win this fight? Like straight grapple a dude and take him down and work him over on the mat and shit. I don't know if he's that guy.
I think Izzy learned a lot from that fight, and
Yep.
It seems like his takedown defense has been
Also,
way better.
that wasn't the way that DDP is going to be able to win this fight. Like, yeah, eventually Jan got to the grappling in that, but he had three and a half
kicking the
super
shit out of him.
competitive rounds on the feet with Izzy that arguably he was winning. I think if DDP tries to strike with him for the first 3 rounds of this fight, that's not going to go well for him. So
Yeah, that's what I was saying. I just think it takes a way bigger, stronger, more powerful guy to wear Izzy out in a fight. That the way you're going to need to beat him usually, just not your DDP's that guy. I think it's going to be a lot of striking. It's going to be fun.
Captain Deadpool, that is indeed a happy face, Tito.
Yes.
Happy face, man.
We are very aware of Tito's exploits in the political realm and that Wes doesn't have a British accent.
We absolutely love some city council Tito videos though that our boy our boy on Twitter would grab. That was pure fucking comedy. Pure comedy. Councilman Tito was pure fucking comedy.
One of
sorry,
a kind.
sorry
One of
for
a
your
kind.
city.
Deputy Mayor
Yeah.
Tito to you, sir.
Yeah, we just get to laugh. We don't have to feel the real repercussions.
I mean,
of
I'm
his
surprised
fucking
our
idiocy.
I'm surprised our country hasn't gotten a Penn or Ortiz ticket yet. BJ Penn Tito Ortiz.
That's what we
like,
need. That's what we need.
That's
And
yeah.
I mean you.
Yeah.
basically need.
Not
you ought to
yeah.
laugh at, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what you need.
We'll have like a GSP Rory McDonald ticket.
Oh jeez.
There we go.
That sounds
Y'all
scary
be
as
y'all
well.
be y'all be Scientologists by the end of the decade. Fucking GSP have y'all worshiping aliens and shit, bro. That's what you need.
That's fine. Yeah, I think that's about it for this week's show. It was a fun one. There's probably a card after this. There's Contender Series back. Lots of fights if you want to watch fights. There's lots of other stuff if you don't want to watch fights. Either way, hope you enjoy it. Win your bets, all that good stuff. We'll see you next week.